Hello students, so today we are here with another test which is on chapter probability. पूरा यूनिट हम कवर करेंगे, सारे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस हैं. छोटा सा टेस्ट है, इसमें 6 क्वेश्चंस हमने दिए हैं just to revise the concepts. So give a small test to yourself to check whether you are prepared for the unit or not. Right, so now let's start with it. So now the first is based on doing the proof. Reading of a book on an average for 4 errors in 10 pages were detected. Using Poisson distribution, find the probability of no error, 1 error in 1000 pages of first printed edition of the book. So this is based on Poisson distribution. So this is the question from probability unit. As I said, the entire test is on that. So first question is on Poisson distribution. So Poisson distribution है हमारे पास, तो हमें सबसे पहले चाहिए होता है एवरेज. और एवरेज क्या दिया है? 4 errors in 10 pages. सो हम उसको लैम्डा से डिनोट कर रहे हैं, अगर मीन को एवरेज को. सो हमारे पास ये हो जाएगा 4 errors in 10 pages, दैट विल बी 0.4. करेक्ट. सो दैट्स योर लैम्डा. सो हमारा जो फॉर्मूला होता है पॉइजन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का, वेरी सिंपल फॉर्मूला इट इज़. सो दिस क्वेश्चंस नॉर्मली कम फॉर 3 marks, तो इसलिए हमने टेस्ट रखा है. 6 questions हैं, 3 marks each. So now here we have, sometimes they do come for 5 mark also. So lambda is 0.4. Let's put these values here. So this becomes our formula. Now let's solve one by one for each case. So no error. No error means your R is 0. So there is no error. Correct? So हमें 0 के लिए solve करना है. Very simple. 0 factorial is 1. That's what we know. So the answer is only this. That is 0.6703. Right? So that much is the probability for no error. Correct? So this is for no error. Now the next case, 1 error in 1000 pages. So x is equal to 1 के लिए पहले आप solve कर लीजिए. So this becomes e raised to minus lambda, lambda raised to 1 upon factorial 1. जहाँ भी आपका r है वहाँ पे 1 पुट कर दीजिए. Now 0.4 into 0.4 upon factorial 1. So this is what you get. So 0.6703 into 0.4. So which will be around 0.26812. Now here they have given 1000 pages, right? So for 1000 pages, कितने pages में error आएगा? 1 error के chances हैं. So that's for 1000 pages. So 1000 into 0.26812. So which gives you 268.12 pages, which is around 268 pages. So that's your correct answer. So 0 error को भी अगर आपको करना है 1000 pages में, so you can go for it. So in 2000 आप करेंगे and then 670 pages around will have 0 error. So this is how do we go for it. Correct? So that gives you 3 marks. आपके marks हैं half for this, then half for your formula, right? And then 1 for your first part and 1 for your second part. So in all it makes it 3 marks in all, right? Now this is another a very good question which is based on binomial distribution, and this type of question was there in board sample paper as well. So how many times must Sunil toss a fair coin so that the probability of getting at least one head is more than 90%? So this is the question which is based on binomial. How do we know? Because जब भी हमारे पास coin के questions होते हैं, they can easily be solved with binomial distribution, क्योंकि probability of success और failure दो ही options होते हैं हमारे पास, and the probability doesn't change with the number of trials. So इसलिए ये binomial का question है. Okay. So now here it is given at least one head. At least one head का मतलब x is greater than equal to 1 हमें calculate करना है, which can be done by 1 minus x is equal to 0. Now probability जब binomial distribution में होता है तो उसका formula क्या होता है? NCR p raised to r q raised to n minus r, where p is your probability of success and q is your probability of failure. So your p will be what? Half, and q will also be half, right? Head का probability half होता है आने का भी, और नहीं आने का भी कितना होता है? Half. So now let's do it. So this is what you have. So 1 minus nc0 half raised to 0 half raised to n. 9. Now what is given? This probability is greater than 90%. So 1 minus nc0 half raised to 0, half raised to n, and this is greater than 90%. So we have to solve and find the value of n. Inequality sign hai, how will you solve? Very simple. So we will take 9 by 10 to this side. So the entire thing goes to the other side. So 1 by 10 is greater than, now NC0 is 1. So NC0 का formula you all know, it's factorial n upon factorial n minus 0 into 0 factorial. So which gives you the answer as 1. Correct? Now, so 1 into 1 by 2 raised to 0 is again 1. So we get here this. So 1 by 10 is greater than 1 upon 2 raised to n. Cross multiply कर दीजिए. So 2 raised to n is greater than 10. Now, what to do after this? After this, just go for the hit and try. 2 raised to what is greater than 10? So n should be 4 or more than 4. That makes your answer. Because 2 raised to 3 is 8, which is less than 10. But 2 raised to 4 is 16, which is greater than 10. So your n is, so कितने ट्रायल्स उसको करने हैं 4 या 4 से ज़्यादा, तब probability of getting at least one head is more than 90%. So that's your final answer. So n is 4 or more than 4. So this is very, very important, right? So this is how you go for the solution. Now let's move on to the next. Now, some vehicles pass through a junction on a busy road at an average rate of rupees 300 people per hour. Find out the probability that none passes in a given minute. What is the expected number of passing in 2 minutes? And also find the probability that this expected number found above actually passed through in a 2-minute period. So here, this question, if you just see, there is nothing given which distribution it belongs to. But number थोड़ा बड़ा है हमारे पास, और हमारे पास जो given values हैं, that is the major hint. So it is based on Poisson distribution. करेक्ट. सो पॉइजन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का ये क्वेश्चन है हमारे पास. सो पॉइजन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का क्वेश्चन है, तो फर्स्ट थिंग इज मीन दैट वी हैव टू फाइंड. सो व्हाट्स द मीन गिवन टू यू 300 पीपल पर आवर, बट हमें पूछा गया है मिनट्स में दिया गया है आगे. सो वी विल फाइंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ फाइंड गोइंग इन अ मिनट. करेक्ट. सो 5 people in a minute are going, 5 per minute is going. Okay, now what's your formula? P of x is equal to r NC exponential minus lambda raised to r upon factorial r. So that's your Poisson distribution formula. Now first question. None passes in a minute. None passes means your r will be 0. So what you get? Minus 5 into 5 raised to 0 upon factorial 0. Do we have marks for formula? Yes. Please do not forget to write it. You can write it only once. Okay, and other parts you can solve it. So e raised to minus 5 ka value hai 0.0067. So that is what we get the answer, because rest is 1. So find out the probability that none passes in a given minute. 0.0067 is the probability. Now second is expected number of passing in 2 minutes. Simple expected number बोल रहा है. Expected number is what? Mean only. Okay. So 5 people are passing in a minute. So how many people will pass in 2 minutes? So expected number in 2 minutes. So that will be simply 5 into 2. That is 10 people may pass in 2 minutes. Now the third part is very, very important if you understand the language. Find the probability that this expected number found above, 10, above actually pass through in a 2-minute period. So आपके पास R भी 10 है and your expected number lambda is also 10. That is the language that we have to understand. I repeat again, find the probability that this expected number found above. So that's your lambda actually pass through in a 2-minute period. That is going to be your R also. कि 2 मिनट में 10 लोग actually में pass हुए. So that what we have to find the probability. For the third one, we have lambda as 10 and r also as 10. So let's find the value. So we get here e raised to minus 10, 10 raised to 10 upon factorial 10. Value seems to be large but very easy to solve. So they have given the values in the question for e raised to minus 10, then 10 raised to 10 is very easy, you know, and then 10 factorial is also given to you 3628800. So if I just go for it, there are six zeros, 1 2 3 4 5 6 digits, right? So what do you get here? 45000 0. 10 raised to 10 में 10 zeros आप शिफ्ट कर दीजिए 10 places पे, and here you get, so now 3628800, दो zeros हम यहाँ से भी कट कर सकते हैं. So what do you get here? 4500 divided by 336,288. So we have to do this one single division, that's it. Otherwise all the calculations are given to, values are given to you. So what do you get here? We get here 0.12400. So this is what we have the answer as. So that is what we have. So simple calculations here make it very, very simple, right? So again, half mark for this you get, half mark for the formula you get, then you get 1 mark for this, then half mark for this, and then again you get half mark for this, right? So this is how it goes on. So this is what we have. They can also make it half to this and 1 to this. Okay, so this is how the marking goes on. But there is a mark for formula, for average, everything, right? So do not skip the steps. Now the fourth one, for 1000 computers, the time period between charges of the battery is normally distributed with a mean of 50 hours and standard deviation 15 hours. Rohan needs one of these computers and wants to know how many of them will have a time period between 50 to 70 hours. And the value is given to you. Value से भी आप देख सकते हैं, it is a question of normal distribution. और normal distribution में हम areas निकालते हैं between two values. So here we can go for it. Now here, what's the mean given to you? Mean is given to us 50. Standard deviation is given to us 15. So now we have to find the value between 50 and 70. तो हमारे लिए सबसे important part क्या होता है? To find Z score. What is the formula for Z score? X minus mu upon rho. Right? एक simple formula आपको normal distribution में याद करना होता है. So now when your X is 50, correct? So then we have to find Z score corresponding to it. So which is coming out to be 0. When X is 70, what's your Z score coming out? 20 upon 50, that is 4 upon 3, that is 1.33. So basically we can convert it into Z score and get the answer, correct? So here the Z score is coming 1.33. So what you have to do in these questions is you have to convert it into Z score and then substitute the value. So what do you get here? 0 से लेकर हमारा value आ रहा है Z score का 1.33. Correct? So this is what we get here. Now the point here is, how do you get these? अब आपको डायग्राम नहीं बनाना है, कोई ग्राफ नहीं बनाना है. So we have to simply convert it for the area. Right? So we get this. So it will be the area enclosed between f of 1.33 and f of 0. हम उसमें से माइनस कर देंगे. तो उन दोनों के बीच में जो एरिया आएगा, that will be our answer. Now f of 1.33 का वैल्यू ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है 0.9082 और f of 0 आपको याद करना होता है, that is standard 0.5 because f of 1 हमारा पूरा हो जाता है the full area of infinity से infinity, that is 1. So f of 0 is half of it, so here we get this. Now just subtract it and get your answer. नॉर्मल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के क्वेश्चन इसलिए बहुत ईजी होते हैं बिकॉज मिनिमम कैलकुलेशंस नॉर्मल में होती हैं. मिनिमम मीन्स ओनली फाइंडिंग अ जेड स्कोर इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, रेस्ट ऑल द वैल्यूज विल बी गिवन टू यू. सो नाउ लेट्स सब्ट्रैक्ट इट एंड गेट द आंसर. सो 0.9082 है हमारे पास, सो वी हैव टू जस्ट सब्ट्रैक्ट इट. सो नाउ व्हाट डू यू गेट हियर? So 0.4082. Now the last part is there are 1000 computers. So we will multiply it by 1000 to get our final answer. So which is 408.2 computers will be having the life between 50 and 70 hours. Now how is the marks distribution? Marks distribution will be very, very simple. you will get half mark for this formula, half mark for these values of the z scores, then you get half mark for this, then you get half mark for your answer, and then half mark for your कंप्यूटर्स का आंसर. प्रोबेबिलिटी के आंसर के लिए भी मार्क्स होंगे, और इफ यू डिड नॉट मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1000 अगेन योर मार्क्स विल बी डिडक्टेड. राइट, दिस इज हाउ यू मार्क इट फॉर 3 marks. Now the next question, assuming a distribution of test scores follows a normal distribution with a mean of 75 and a standard deviation of 10, what is the probability that a randomly selected student scores below 60? So again, this is a question based on normal distribution. So now what's your mean given to you? 75. What's your standard deviation? 10. And we have to find probability of x less than 60. तो 60 के लिए पहले हम z स्कोर निकालेंगे. So z score is x minus mu upon rho. I think you have learned this formula now. So which is 75 upon 10. Right? So what do you get here? Minus 15 upon 10, which is minus 1.5. So your z score is this. So जब less than minus 1.5 है हमारे पास, so we have 1 minus f of 1.5. This is what is the formula for the negative. Less than 1 minus 1.5 है, तो it is 1 minus f of 1.5. Why we have written in this term? Because हमें इसी का वैल्यू दिया हुआ है, इसलिए हमने उसको इस फॉर्म में लिखा. हम जीरो के टर्म्स में भी लिख सकते थे, हम आपको डायरेक्ट भी लिख सकते थे, बट द वैल्यू इज गिवन टू यू, सो यू आर राइटिंग इन दिस फॉर्म. So now, very simple step to be done. Just subtract 0.9332 from 1. So what is the answer? 0.668. Here we don't need to multiply anything because only the probability is being asked. So again, if I do the marks distribution, 1 mark for finding the z score, then half mark for this, then half mark for forming it, and 1 mark for the final answer. So this is how it goes on. Now the last question for the test. I hope you all are doing well and you would have scored full in this. So assuming that on an average, one telephone out of 15 called between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. on weekdays will be busy, what is the probability that if 6 randomly selected telephone numbers are called, at least 3 of them will be busy? इसमें थोड़ा calculation ज़्यादा है. So this is based on binomial क्योंकि छोटे numbers है हमारे पास, n6 है and r is at least 3. So छोटे numbers जब भी होते हैं और success और failure दो ही chances होते हैं, then always we go for binomial. So here एवरेज कॉल्स क्या है हमारे पास? 1 out of 15. So probability of being busy phone रहेगा हमारा phone between 3 and 4 p.m. that is 1 by 15. And probability not busy on weekdays between 3 and 4 is 14 by 15. So 6 is n and r is at least 3 of them. At least 3 of them means x is greater than equal to 3. So which can be written as probability of 1 minus x is less than 3, which is 1 minus probability of 0 plus 1 plus 2. That's a simple way to write it so that our calculations are minimal. Greater than 3 है, greater than equal to 3, आप 3, 4, 5, 6 को भी add कर सकते हैं, but that will again make it the same thing. So here we have, so ये थोड़ा easier calculations पे होता है. Now what's the formula for binomial? P of x is equal to r is NCR P of r and q raised to n minus r. So this is what the formula is all about. So now let's put these values. So your n is 6, C0 half 1 by 15 raised to 0 and 14 by 15 raised to 6. 6C1 1 by 15 raised to 1 and 14 by 15 raised to 5 and 6C2 14 by 15 raised to 4 and 1 by 15 raised to 2. ये हमारा एक सिंपल सा फॉर्म अब बन गया. नाउ 1 माइनस, आर वी गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट ऑल दीज नंबर्स? नो, वी विल जस्ट सिंप्लीफाई इट एंड लीव अवर आंसर. तो अब हम इसमें क्या कॉमन ले सकते हैं? देखिए 14 by 15 raised to 4. Okay, so this is what we can take common. We can take 14 by 15 raised to 6 हम नहीं ले सकते, बट 15 की पावर 6 यस इट्स कॉमन. वो हमने इसलिए नहीं लिया क्योंकि 14 के साथ फिर वो ऊपर और नीचे हो जाएगा, आपका एक कम एक ज़्यादा। तो यू कैन डू इट विद दिस, यू कैन टेक 15 raised to 6 ऑल्सो कॉमन, एनीथिंग इज फाइन। नाउ 6 is 1. Now what do you get here? 14 square upon 15 square. 6c1 is 6. Here you get 14 upon 15 square. And here what you get? 6c2. 6c2 का वैल्यू क्या होता है? 6 factorial upon 4 factorial into 2 factorial. So we get here 6 into 5 into 4 factorial upon 4 factorial into 2. So what do you get here? 3. And 1 upon 15 square. So 5 3 are 15 होता है, एक 15 यहाँ भी कट हो गया. If you want to cut it, otherwise leave it. So 14 upon 15 का square of 4 power. Now 15 square is your LCM. So 1 into 14 square. So 14 square you all know 196. I write it directly, 196 plus 6 into 14. What will you get again? So that will be simply 54, right? So here what do you get? 15, correct? So this is what you have. So 196 plus 84 plus 15 is how much that you have to calculate. So keep it on a simple note. Again I am repeating, no need to worry much. हम आपके साथ ही calculations कर रहे हैं, so easily you can do it in exam. So 196 plus 84 है आपके पास, so it gives you simply 295. Because 280 plus 15 will become 295. अभी तक कोई कैलकुलेशन हमने रफ में नहीं किया है स्टूडेंट्स, and here it is 225. So now if I divide it by simply 5, because दोनों में 5 5 है लास्ट में, so what do you get here? Here we get simply 45, and here what do you get? 59. So that's your final answer. You can leave it here. 1 minus 14 upon 15 raised to 4 and 59 upon 45. That's your final answer. Right? So this is what we get. So 3 marks इसमें कैसे distribute होंगे? Half for finding the probabilities, half for your final, this, 1 mark for this, and 1 mark for finals. So this is how we go for it. So I hope all of you would have scored 18 on 18 in this, and it was a quick revision for probability. Are you prepared or not? These questions are very important because these type of questions we are getting. So if you have understood it well, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, everyone.